Hi, everyone. Darren Lynch, founder and CEO of Irish Titan, here with another whiskey shot. And today with one of my favorites. We've known each other for a long, long time. We're graced with Aaron Sheehan's presence. Aaron, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you, Darren?
I'm good. I'm good. Why don't you share with the audience a little bit about who you are, your background, and what you're doing these days?
Sure. So I am at BigCommerce, if you can't tell from the logo on my polo. I'm the director of competitive strategy here, which don't know what that means yet, but I'm looking forward to finding out. I've been here a little over a year. And a lot of what I do is pay attention to the e-commerce world, what's happening from the merchant side, what's happening from technology platform side, vendors in the space, and sort of market insights. That's part of the job. Prior to that, I've been a competitor of yours on the mostly Magento solutions architect and agency side. So consulting with merchants, going through requirements, doing a lot of replatforms, both in the sort of the consulting and pre-sale side, and then again in the delivery side as a business analyst and architect and engineering lead.
Yeah, Aaron was one of the sorts of competitors that you like to go up against. I always respected you, felt like if we were in a deal that you were in, that was a good sign of the quality and caliber of competition we were swimming in. So it's been fun to actually work with you as a colleague now instead of a friendly competitor.
That's right. The e-commerce world is very small.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we're in a group of that's not sized too large that have been around for a long time now.
It's true.
So I think that one of the topics, you and I could riff about many topics, but I think that one of the topics that would be interesting is replatforming, right? And what some of the signs are, what some of the triggers are that merchants should look for to know that it's time to replatform or time to at least start to consider what that roadmap might look like. So let's dig around a little bit on that. And maybe with that big theme, I'll turn the floor over to you and see what comes to mind for some of those triggers you think merchants should be looking for.
Sure. Well, you and I have been around a while, so we've been through the great like Magento 1 end of life sort of reason where and others like Yahoo stores and there's other platforms that have shut down and you pouring out for Volusion, I guess, or shrunk and contracted anyway. So there's the external reasons for replatform, which I don't think we need to go into, right? Because they're super obvious. Like my vendor is saying goodbye, hasta luego. You can go anywhere you want, but you can't stay here, right?
Right.
That's an obvious trigger for a replatform. It's also not particularly interesting in the sense that like it's an external forcing factor, right? It's not something I think your audience would be interested in. If I'm a brand, if I'm a merchant, what are some signs maybe that the thing that I'm on now is maybe my business is outgrowing the technology underneath it, and that's the conversation that I've had many times over the years. And for me, it's always manifested as there's something I want to do that I can't do, or is going to require an enormous amount of time and expense to do on my current platform. And sometimes that might be, I'd like to open a wholesale channel. I'm a direct consumer seller, but I'd like to start selling wholesale to a select group of retailers with special pricing and special shipping options and different, maybe even some different products. Maybe I want to sell fixtures, right? Maybe I want to sell stuff that goes like at the counter in a truck stop. Right. These are all sort of like possible use cases for a retailer to maybe want to do something different with their e-commerce stack than they were doing before. Expanding internationally, doing cross-border. I want to sell multi-language. I want to sell multi-currency. There's a lot of platforms out there that don't do that, or custom stacks that don't do that. And so that's a level of complexity that you then have to grapple with. Is the juice worth the squeeze for me as a brand or as a retailer to sort of like expand into those channels? Those are some ideas. Those are some top talking points that I've heard from merchants over the years who approached me or you or any of our honorable competitors in the agency space around, I need something, this isn't working for me, right? I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think that I would echo that. I think that e-commerce is evolving in a way at a pace that's different than in some of the early days, right? It was sort of monolithic platforms. It was branded sites, and that was sort of it, right? You picked your tech stack and you tried to drive people to your site. Well, with the way e-commerce has taken shape over the last few years and is continuing to take shape going forward, I think that the business situation, your business model is evolving. Like you said, there's international, there's marketplace, there are branded stores, there's social. And when you have to endure a lot of pain, whether that's total cost of ownership, or it's difficult to administer the site and the content and the product. When you endure a lot of pain to adapt to those evolving e-commerce opportunities, that's, I think, when merchants start to realize this platform isn't working for us anymore. Maybe it's too dated, maybe the tech stack is old, or maybe it's just too junior, or to sort of exaggerate the point, too amateur. I've graduated beyond it. I've proven my business model, and now I need to invest in a more sophisticated e-commerce platform or a more modern e-commerce platform. Those are some of the themes which are very similar to what you said. I'm just saying them back in different ways, but that's what we see in here when replatforming comes up.
That was much more eloquent, I think.
I don't know
yes,
about that, Aaron.
I completely agree with you. And you said something there that kind of struck with me. You talked about the choices that merchants have had, I think, over the years when they're buying a stack, which is I go to one vendor basically, and I buy everything from that vendor, and I buy the suite of capabilities from that person. And we're seeing, I think, now in the space, and have been seeing the sort of a more of a composable approach to how you assemble specific pieces. So there's less of a, I'm going to go to the one vendor, I'm going to give all my money to Microsoft, I'm going to give all my money to Oracle, I'm going to give all my money to somebody, and they're going to supply me with, right, a giant application that's going to sort of like kind of do everything I might want to do, but not maybe the best at any one. And we're seeing a lot more a rise, I think, in more purpose-built software that is meant to interoperate with other pieces of purpose-built software deliberately from their inception, from its architecture. And so I think that's an interesting new development that is I think for me was seen maybe a few years ago as kind of the land of only the largest enterprises would sort of like go down that path. But I'm seeing a lot more, I would say, democratization of that concept trickling down into the mid-market.
I think you're spot on, and that's a great way to put it, that democratization of that. I think that one of the things I've always enjoyed about you and our conversations is sort of the forward, future-facing considerations and perspectives we have, right? And I think it's no secret how valuable our relationship is with BigCommerce, and how enthusiastic we are about how your solution is positioned for where e-commerce is today and where I think it's going. Right? Because I think that in the old days, you could have sort of a monolithic, vertically integrated tech stack solution because e-commerce wasn't evolving like it is today at the pace. And I don't mean to keep rehashing that point, but I think what was evolving then was some of the underpinnings of the technology. Now the technology has advanced so much that it is enabling the evolution and developing nature of the business side of it, hence marketplaces, social, et cetera, all the things we mentioned. And I think that an e-commerce platform built to be able to integrate, support, grow, and curate all of the analytics and information across all of those, that's what's called for today. And I think that's a new need. 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, which is forever in our space, that wasn't really top of mind. It wasn't even near top of mind then.
Yeah, you're talking about you're talking about the omni-channel word, right? Which I think we started, seeing constantly in 2013, 2014.
Right.
Everybody, it was the word omni-channel was sort of being tested out a little bit as a buzzword in our space, and it's, I think, the meaning of what vendors mean by that and what merchants mean by omni-channel has evolved, kind of like you said, over the years, to mean more than just, okay, I've got a cash register and an e-commerce platform. Look, you can go into the store and you can buy from me, or you can go to my website and buy from me. there's more to it than that now. You just mentioned, I want to be able to advertise on TikTok. I want to be able to sell on Meta. I need to be able to have a storefront on Amazon. And I need orchestration of an enormous amount of data and brand collateral to power all of those touch points so that they're all effective for me. And I should be able to own the data to monitor whether or not what's performing, what's not performing, and continually test and learn. It's no longer enough. I think back when we got started, a lot of merchants, a lot of people would just, if you were the first mover in your space to sort of hang up your shingle on the internet, selling whatever you're selling, you'd get traffic. Like, it was
right,
because there wasn't a lot of competition and people would go seek you out and find you. That's less the case now. And so you have to work merchant. It's a lot harder to be a merchant now because you have to drive the demand and you have to meet people wherever they are. And they're a lot more fragmented. They're not all sitting at their desktop on Internet Explorer, Netscape Navigator, trying to find your website.
correct. I rarely have to use this phrase in some of our prospect conversations or even client conversations, but everybody still knows this phrase. The days of build it and they will come are long gone.
That's
long
right.
gone, right? I used to,
Yes.
in the early days, I used to caution merchants against having that expectation. We don't even have to anymore because everybody understands how competitive it is out there.
Right.
So as we draw this whiskey shot to a close, Aaron, is there something you'd like to leave with the audience? One final takeaway.
Can I openly shill for BigCommerce?
You surely can.
Oh, fantastic. Well, one of the reason I'm here, and the thing I love about this platform, is that it really is the last e-commerce platform that a merchant will ever need. And I say that because we have the ability to support all those channels. We have the ability to support a fully headless build, or you can use our native front end. You can do B2B and B2C on the same platform. You could do cross-border. You could do multiple sites, multiple languages, multiple currencies. There's a lot of things that you can do with BigCommerce that are open to you. And you don't have to decide at the time that you build on BigCommerce what the future is going to look like. You're not locked into a specific picture of what your online digital commerce presence needs to look like. You can adapt and change. We're always growing and evolving our platform, but there's already, I would say, more options available to anybody who's new to coming onto BigCommerce than there is on any other SaaS platform out there on the market. And I think that's very powerful because I know that I have trouble predicting what's going to be new and exciting and performant a quarter from now, 2 quarters from now. So making a vendor selection for your e-commerce platform with imperfect knowledge of the future, to me, would motivate me as a merchant to go with a platform that gives me the most openness and flexibility to adapt to whatever the future is going to bring, because it's always going to bring something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that open SaaS positioning and ethos, I would actually say, of BigCommerce, I think is really well timed. Aaron, thank you for the work you're doing at BigCommerce, and thank you for the work you're doing in the e-commerce space in general.
Thank you for having me on. It's great to see you as always.
Yeah, we'll be talking again soon. So with that, we will wrap up. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Look for more whiskey shots in the future, and we'll talk soon. Sláinte.
Sláinte.